Hello everyone, Catweazle here, welcome to the channel, and welcome back to Eldritch Horror, Rise of the Elder Things, Turn 7. Okay, anything from last turn? Yes, just a very minor thing. Wendy didn't pick herself last turn as regards the Mythos card. She actually picked Jenny because Jenny can avoid being delayed by using her stopwatch. She didn't use herself. Right, so what we're doing this turn? Well, Wendy is going to be first player. She's in a spot of bother. She's also at the City of the Elder Things. After her, it will be Jenny Barnes, who is currently in London. And then it will be Rex, who is here in Rome. And our last player will be Monterey Jack, who's currently on space 17. As regards gates, we have the Amazon gate here, which is guarded by 3 cultists, amazingly. We also have the rumour, ghostly chanting, which is here, which we're going to try and deal with this turn. And as mentioned, we had the, patrolling the border mythos that is going to stay in play as well, that I've put up there on a stand. As regards the omen track, it's currently here on a red sunburst, and doom is at 15. So we've got plenty of doom left, that is fine. And that is it for the intro to this particular episode. So let's find out what happened previously on Rise of the Elder Things. Wendy made her way back out into the city. She could still hear the ghostly chanting coming from the plateau. It sent shivers down her spine. She didn't like it at all. In the city, she found another member of an expedition about to make his way back over the frozen wastes to the lake camp, and not wanting to go back to the plateau while the chanting could still be heard, she asked if she could join him. He explained that he had been conducting experiments and had found a strange substance in the city. He pulled a jar from his backpack. It was full of a dark ooze. Throwing and catching the jar in his hand, he boasted, "This is going to make me more rich than you could know." It was then that he fumbled the jar and it smashed as it hit the stone floor. "Blast," he said. As soon as the ooze touched the snow, it started to grow in volume, attaching itself to the man's leg, and it began to spread up it like wildfire. He screamed out in pain as it continued to envelop his body. Within seconds he was completely covered in the viscous slime. Wendy staggered back in shock, grabbing her axe from her bag. The man twisted and contorted in front of her until he had changed into a hideous monster that was not unlike those she had seen prowling the city previously. The monster now wrapped a tentacle-like arm around a huge rock and slammed its hard into Wendy. Instinctively, she swung around and connected with her axe. The tentacle dropped to the floor. The beast gave out an ear-splitting scream. It shrank back away from her and slid off into the city. In agony, Wendy knew that she needed help. If only she had listened to Jack and gone with him. She had no choice but to try and make it back to the lake camp and find help. Upon arriving in London, Jenny treated Max, Anderson and a new hanger-on, Sophie, to a late breakfast and a spot of tea. Rex was a tad late, but he showed early enough to get in on the breakfast. He looked a bit perplexed at the little gathering and shook his head before sitting down. "Always a production with you, Jenny. Who are your friends?" Jenny beamed at Rex and gave introductions. After eating and sipping tea, Max excused himself at a nod from Jenny, returning a short time later. He dropped a rather heavy and long case in front of Rex, and a small package with a shiny red bow on it. "The last gun I gave you was simply inadequate," Jenny said to Rex. "This one is so much better." Rex peeked into the long box and his eyes widened. "Is this?" Jenny absolutely loves surprises. And drama. And tea. Oh, and bubbly, of course. She giggled. "Yes, old-fashioned, just like you, lovey, but it works like a charm. I know." She leaned in close. I used it on some hairy behemoth of another worldly beast. Blew the dastardly thing to bits. It was an absolute delight. She giggled again. Oh, and I employed Sophie here to help you. I've been running into a spot of the arcane, and she is an expert on spells and such. Rex was stunned. Jenny, you don't have to do all this. Pish posh. She waved a satin-gloved hand at him. Nonsense, dear. I have more money than the crown, so it is not a bother at all. She looked coy for a moment. Daddy approves of my work too, saving the world and all that. And do you hear that incessant noise? I would love it if we took care of that soon. It is making me lose sleep, and I cannot have bags under my eyes. That simply won't do. She then tapped the other small package. This is an actual present, because I think you're the bee's knees, Rexy. Rex opened it to find a highly detailed cigarette case with an inscription. May it bring you luck, it read. Jenny simply beamed at the cleverness of it. Rex offered a sincere thanks and took the case away. Jenny also gave Rex the old book that she had found and saw him onto the boat that would ultimately take him to Rome to meet up with Jack, another friend of Ursula's. Her smile faded as he departed. She had more visions of young Wendy in a terrible state, and she needed to help her. But first she was off to see Father Brown, a priest and a friend of Daddy's, and then, well, the markets and shops called to her. Rex took out his handkerchief and wiped his brow. The leper had gone now, hobbling away in his rags to another part of the docks. How the man, or the thing within the man, had found him, he had no idea, but the diseased and withered arm that had grabbed his hand had made Rex recoil in horror. The leper had laughed at him from beneath the stained and rotting brown hessian hood that had mercifully covered his face. Death is coming. Can you not feel it? This world rots even while it lives, much as this human rots as it lives. Bones, flesh and sinew atrophy and liquefy even as we speak. This diseased human vessel is but a sign of what is to come for you all. We sense that you look to prevent that which has been ordained. Come, persuade us of your cause, son of Adam, and mayhap we shall spare this vessel and aid thee also. Rex had swallowed hard and spoke. As he spoke, he noticed that the darkness under the leper's hood had been punctured by two pits of yellowish light. The sickly glow now illuminated a writhing mass of rotting flesh and running sores around a toothless mouth. Rex spoke until his own mouth was as dry and cracked as the leper's stinking robe. When he had nothing else left to say, the leper's hand shot out again and grabbed his. The withered claw-like fingers pressed a scrap of parchment into his sweating palm. Well enough. Here, son of Adam, a gift for mankind, if you are brave enough to use it. After some more hand-cutting, which was followed by a rather uneventful ride to Bombay, Jack felt like getting a little shopping in. He didn't have the vast resources as his old patrons, the Barnes family, had, but he thought he could get something in a local shop. As he was browsing over what was on display, he heard a ruckus coming from the front of the place. Jack saw a group of armed men with pistols holding up the store owner. Stepping forward, he unfurled his whip and used his knowledge of trick snaps to disarm the men, causing them to run off. "Thank you so much, kind sir," the owner said, shaking Jack's hand. "Anything you see in this store is yours, no cost." Jack went back to perusing the shelves, looking past an old official-looking book, too much like a police journal for Jack's liking. A shrunken head, he had seen plenty of those in his travels, and an old map, and, an ankh. Jack's recent trips to the pyramids put him in mind of the Egyptians and of this symbol, so important to their way of life, stood out to him. "This one, sir. I'll take this." Afterwards, Jack and his friends decided to head for the train station to await Rex's arrival. And here we are at the action phase with Wendy Adams. The first thing Wendy's going to do is rest. So by resting, that means she gets an extra sanity and an extra health. That will put her on 2 health and back up to maximum sanity, which is 7. So that's pretty good. She's certainly in a better position than she was previously. For her second action, she is going to move, and she's going to move to the frozen waste. So there we go. That is it for Wendy's action phase. Next up, it's over to London and to Jenny Barnes. And here we are with Jenny in London. First thing Jenny's going to do, pretty much what she also always does, is she's going to have a bit of a shop. So she's going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. She's going to use a special ability, so it's going to be 6 dice. Come on, Jenny. Oh, look at that. So again, you get 3 5s again, and a 4. So there we go. That is 4 successes. Let us get down to the asset reserve. And here we are at the asset reserve. First of all, she is going to take a bank loan again, so there's the extra 2 successes. How's she going to spend them? Well, first of all, she wants this lodge physician, because we've got a plan for the lodge physician. So it's an ally. You and other investigators on your space may recover 1 additional health or discard 1 illness or injury condition when performing a rest action. This will prove to be very useful. So she's going to take that, and she's got 3 successes left. With 1 of those, she's going to take the police ledger. An item. When you perform a rest action, you may attempt to decipher the ledger. Test observation. If you pass, discard this card and gain a clue. So that leaves her with 2 successes. With these 2 successes, what we're going to do is we're going to use one of the travel conditions on the Antarctic sideboard, and that says that you can spend 2 acquire assets successes to travel to the Miskatonic outpost. So that is what we're going to do, but just before we do that, we have got to replace what's in the reserve. So let's get the reserve deck. Quick shuffle. Oh, just quickly before we do the cut on that, we have got to do the good old deck thing. We'll just cut the deck, this deck, because it's going straight back in anyway. So there we go. That's going straight back in as per her passive ability. Now we'll do this. Do a cut and see what the replacement assets are. They are cost of 1 for an arcane scroll, a trinket, tome. You may add 1 to the result of 1 die when resolving a law test as part of a spell effect. Again, that is the sort of thing that is good for Rex, because it makes his test a normal test, if you like. So that's pretty good. And the next one is, what's this? Ooh, a lucky rabbit's foot. Trinket. Once per round you may re-roll 1 die when resolving a test. There we are. So the asset reserve is full up again. And let's get back to Jenny. But Jenny is no longer in London. She's used her 2 acquire asset successes to go over to the Miskatonic outpost. So let's move across there. And here's Jenny at the Miskatonic outpost, having paid for a rather expensive trip to get all the way down here by charter flight. So what's she going to do now for her second action? Well, for her second action, she is going to go to Lake Camp. So there we are. One of the good things about Lake Camp is it is counted as a space where you can still do some shopping. So obviously that's why Jenny wanted to go. But it does mean she's now in a position to offer some help and support to Wendy. So brilliant stuff. Right, next up it's good old Rex, and he's in Rome. And here's Rex in Rome. First thing he's got to do is to prepare for travel. So he's going to buy a train ticket. Here we are. And for his second action, he is going to move to Istanbul. Then he's immediately going to spend his train ticket. And he's coming all the way down here to Space 17, where he is going to meet up with his friend Monterey Jack. That is it for Rex's action phase. So we may as well go straight into Monterey Jack. First thing Monterey Jack is going to do is he is going to trade. So trading with Rex. Let's get the most important thing out of the way first. Rex is going to give him all the information that he has on this rumour. So those are all going to go to Monty. Additionally, Rex is going to give him the blunderbuss. So this should be a lot more help to Monty than it would be to Rex. So there we go, the old blunderbuss. He's also going to give him his Exploring the Ruins unique asset. So after resolving an expedition or a Mystic Ruins encounter, you may spend 1 focus to place 1 focus on this card. Then you may flip this card. So again, Monterey is probably going to do more expeditions than Rex is. And finally, the Arcane Assistant, Sophie. Ally, roll 1 additional die when resolving a lore test as part of a spell effect. He may end up getting some spells, and he's got pretty decent lore, much better than poor old Rex. So let's give all these to Monterey. Good, good. And for Monterey's second action, he is going to move. And that's right, he's going right up here to the Himalayas. There we go. And that is it for the action phase. Next up, the encounter phase. And here we are with Wendy. She's in the frozen wastes, which is a bit grim. Right, so, but there is some text here. It says, after an investigator resolves a location encounter or a research encounter on this space, they may move to the City of the Elder Things or to Lake Camp. And the important word there was resolve. So we've got a chance to get Wendy to Lake Camp after this particular encounter. So it's a yellow deck encounter. Here's the yellow deck. Quick shuffle and a cut. Let's hope she does better than last time. So we are at the frozen waste. You saw an elder thing. You searched the Aurora Australis above you to find it again. Test observation. Well, observation is a best skill. But as we remember from last time, she didn't exactly achieve it. Well, she's going to try and channel Monterey Jack again. Come on, let's have a success. Oh, we haven't got a success. I'm wondering whether to use that clue. I'm going to use that clue because Mark said to use the clue. Lawrence said to use the clue. So he did say that. So he is going to use the clue on a reroll. I wouldn't do that. I'd go for it, but Lawrence is the player. Oh, I lost a clue as well. So let's just hope it isn't anything too bad. If you fail, your senses begin to falter. Lose 1 sanity and gain a hallucination condition. Not too bad. So, not ideal, but had worse than that. So, we get to lose 1 sanity. So, she's back down to 6. And we've got to get a hallucination condition from the Madness deck. Oh, no we don't. Put those back. What we're going to do is we're obviously going to knock that condition back, because once per turn she can knock a condition back. She's going to use it now. That does mean Mythos phase, if we get a condition coming out through that, then she's got to accept that one, but we don't know. So let's deal with what we do know. We would get a hallucination condition unless she knocked it back straight away. She's going to knock that back now. So all she did was lose 1 sanity. She has now resolved that encounter. Doesn't matter, she failed. She's resolved it. She is going to stumble in to Lake Camp. So there she is with Jenny in Lake Camp now. Talking of Jenny, it's now her encounter phase. So as it's her encounter phase, we'll get the same deck, except this time we will be looking for a Lake Camp encounter. Lake Camp. You scrape and dig to free the plains from the ice and snow. Strength -1. I don't think her strength is that bad. I think it's quite good. Let's check. Her strength is 3. And she gains 1 strength from the bodyguard, so that's 4. Is there anything else? No, the other strength bonuses are during combat. So she's got 4, so she's going to roll 3 dice. Go on, Jenny. Her and the bodyguard try to dig out the flames, and she gets a success. Okay, that's good. That is good. If you pass, one of them can be salvaged. You may move up to 2 spaces on this sideboard. Well, what it is she doesn't want to move. We've got something in, we've got a plan for both her and for Wendy for next turn. So she isn't going to move. Anybody who wants to see the fail condition, there you go. So that's that. So that's pretty groovy. Righto. So that is the end of Jenny's encounter phase. So let's get back to the main board and Rex. And here we are with Rex. Now with Rex, what I was going to do was I was going to have a generic city encounter. But do you know what? Let's go for it. Let's go for it. He is going to go and have a research encounter and try and get this clue. So it's the normal research deck. Let's see if you can get a clue. They always come in useful. So let's see if he can do the business. He's still got a focus. He's still got his magical talisman. And he's still got his lucky cigarette case. So he's in a city. The local newspaper runs a story endorsing further expeditions to the Antarctic. God, this is thematic. You try to sneak into the newsroom. Observation. You shouldn't have to sneak in. He's got press accreditation, man. Right, whoop. So what's his observation? His observation is 2. Does he get any additionals from anywhere? Cat burglar. Oh, he gets an additional die off the urban guide. We're in a city. So that will be 3 dice. 3 curse dice. Where's the cup? There's the cup. He has a focus and he has a reroll. But he also has the lucky cigarette case. Woohoo! So he's passed. Brilliant. I love it when stuff like that works out. If you pass, you meet the author of the article and interrogate him. Gain this clue. And there is the fail condition. We have got a clue. Brilliant stuff. We'll pick up that clue and give it to Rex. Let's get rid of his cursed dice. And we'll put that on Rex's player area. Well done, Rexy. That is it for Rex. Next up, it's Monterey Jack. And he's just there at the Himalayas. What is Monterey Jack going to do? Well, let's have a look at the rumour card. As an encounter, an investigator on the Himalayas may dispel the ghostly chants. He may spend clues equal to the number of investigators to solve this rumour. Woohoo! And that's what he's going to do. Let's get rid of this rumour. That goes away. You can discard it, which is excellent. He's got to spend 4 clues though. Let's get those. Let's not forget. So he's spending those 4 clues. They have gone. That has gone. We can get rid of all these Eldritch tokens. And that is excellent. We can get rid of that as well, can't we? So that's excellent work. That is instead of an encounter. So that is it for the encounter phase. Next up, the laugh and chuckle phase. And here we are at the laugh and chuckle phase. So let's get the laugh and chuckle deck, shall we? Here we go. Right, so let's see what the bad news is. It's a green. Coolness, no reckoning. So we have omen trap movement. And it moves on to a blue constellation. We have no blue constellation gates, so that is no doom trap movement. We love it. We do have a monster surge, or rather we don't, because we do not have a blue constellation gate. So that means we spawn a gate, and we get a gate at London. Centre of the Empire has a gate. Right, so I'll use one of these stands. There we go. Have a gate, and we need a monster. Gonna get a cultist. Let's get to the bottom of the bag, and we get. Whoop! No, we get a flying polyp. What are these? Probably something not good. They don't look good, do they? Look at that. Oh, reckoning monster. Oh, 4 toughness, you're joking. So will test -1 for the horror check. Got to get 2 successes or lose sanity. And the combat check is strength -2. And 2 successes to avoid losing health. But that 4 toughness to kill it. Oof. On a reckoning, move this monster to the nearest space containing a gate. Well, it's already on a gate, so that's not too bad. So, there we go. London has a flying polyp. Ooh. And now it's clues. Well, we don't mind putting clues on the board. Let's get the bag. Get 2. The first one is 15. Cape Town. And the next one is... Whoop. Space 2, North Pacific. That'll do. Neither of them are too accessible, but they're not bad, they're not bad. Right, well, at least we've got no tentacles on the card. After weeks of encountering ancient and monstrous creatures, you were unprepared for something so cold and personal as being betrayed by an associate. Lies can be every bit as destructive as any wizard's curse. Unexpected betrayal. Oh, God, we've got loads of allies. Each investigator with at least 1 ally asset loses 3 health and discards 1 ally asset. No! Oh no, Rex! Oh, he's got his sanity he's low on. What about Wendy? She doesn't have an ally. Whew. Well, I thought we'd lost Rex for a second. Right, let's do it in order. Wendy doesn't have an ally, so she's fine. She doesn't have to do anything. Jenny's got 3, I think. She's got the Max, the bodyguard, Anderson, the museum curator, and she's just got that lodge physician. You know what? I think we're going to get rid of the museum curator, because he doesn't give us. He's already given us what he could give us, the relic asset. I mean, there is a reroll when resolving a test during an expedition or Mystic Ruins encounter, but is Jenny going to do many of them? I don't think she is. So Max, the bodyguard, gives her a strength bonus, and the lodge physician is, well, it's just brilliant for getting rid of injury conditions and stuff like that. So Anderson, we might have known. We got him from Arkham. He said he wasn't in league with the Elder things, but he was really. So we've sussed him out, and like, even though he tried to stab Jenny in her sleep, we've managed to root him out. She loses 3 health, but that's not too bad either, to be honest, because she's still got 4 health, so that's fine. Right, so she keeps Max and she keeps the lodge physician. In fact, the lodge physician will help her get that 3 health back, so that's pretty good, really. Then we get on to Rex. Well, Rex is going to lose 3 health because he's got the urban guide and the cat burglar. That's a bit of a no-brainer about what to lose. He's going to lose the cat burglar. The urban guide is much too useful, and he loses 3 health, but again, he's still got 4 left, so that's not too bad. And lastly, we've got Monty. He's got 3 allies as well. He's got Enoch, the Foxy Lady, and the Arcane Assistant, but that's pretty obvious, isn't it? We'll get rid of the Arcane Assistant. The Foxy Lady, Agent of Secrets, and Enoch are very useful. The Arcane Assistant, not so much. So Sophie went bad as well. So we'll get rid of her. Things are not so rosy regarding Monterey's health position. He'd spent a couple of health on that sacrifices to make, so he was at 5 health. He is now down to 2 health. So both him and Wendy are at 2 health. But that isn't too bad. If they have a rest next turn, they get up to 3 health. I think that's fine. 2 health and under, dodgy, but 3 health, they should be fine. Whoa, what a horrible card! This is the sort of card to get right at the beginning. If you get this at the beginning of the game, when there's a good chance you haven't got many allies and you haven't lost much health, but whew, once you're well into a game, this could be a real nasty one. That was horrible. Right, but it's gone now. So we'll get rid of that and we will put the deck back. Okay, so not too bad again. Fortunately, the one person who could have probably been killed there, Wendy, did not have an ally, thankfully. So we got away with that one. Even though for a split second I thought it was the end of Rex, till I realised we weren't losing sanity, we were losing health. But that has put, we've all lost a lot of health there, apart from Wendy. So, oof, nasty. Okay, how did everything else go? Well, Wendy's done pretty well. I mean, she failed again. She's lost a clue, but she was able to knock back the condition. She didn't get a condition in the mythos phase. So, all in all, she hasn't done that badly. She only lost a sanity, I think. So that's okay. That's fine. Jenny was a beast again. She did a load of shopping, and she managed to get to late camp. She should be able to help out Wendy next turn. Wendy should be pretty much fully healed next turn, so that's excellent stuff. Hopefully Jenny and Wendy can look to get a couple of clues. I think I think Jenny's got the police ledger now, so there is a chance she can get a clue from that as well. Then let's get to the Plateau of Leng. Let's deal with that mystery. Rex and Monty, well, apart from losing that health, and having a couple of allies go bad on them, like Jenny did, they had successful turns as well. Rex picked up a clue. He also managed to have the trade with Monterey Jack. Monterey Jack managed to get rid of that horrible rumour. That was brilliant. We've got another gate at London and a flying polyp, which seems particularly horrible, but it doesn't seem like it's going to be moving because it goes to the nearest gate, and the nearest gate is the one it's on, so that's okay. The Amazon's fine. It's still guarded by the 3 degrees. That's not a problem. We're going to have a bit of fun coming up. We've had 2 green cards, I think, in this second stage. That means there's only 1 left. So there's 1 green card, there is 3 yellow reckoning cards, and a rumour to come. So we've dodged the bullet for a couple of turns, but there's a good chance we're going to get some yellows and blues on the trot. So hopefully, if we can get that second mystery down and out, then we're halfway there, and perhaps we'll be able to muddle through. But yes, losing all that health and all those allies wasn't ideal. But I think the museum curator was the correct choice. He wasn't too helpful. Once he's given you the relic, he's not that helpful. And who did... Monterey got rid of the arcane assistant. He doesn't have a spell as it stands at the moment. He may get some, but she wasn't very useful as it stood, so it's great that she's disappeared. And Rex got rid of the cat burglar. That was quite... They are quite useful, but obviously the urban guide is a lot more useful than the cat burglar is, so that was a bit of a no-brainer. We had no Omen Doom track movement, so that's good. We're still on 15. We've got 5 monsters on the board, but 3 of them are like cultists that could become potential allies. And thank God we've got rid of that Mythos card. I think we'll feel a lot safer in picking up allies in the future. Right, but that is the end of turn 7. I hope you enjoyed it. As ever, thank you so much for all the views, thanks for all the subscriptions, thank you for all the help and support. It's marvellous, thank you very much. As always, if you've noticed any mistakes, as I say, I normally make at least 1. If you notice any mistakes, please point them out and I will try and fix them before next turn. Oh, and thank you to everybody who's been across to Board Game Links to upvote the site. That is marvellous. Brilliant stuff. Thank you very much. So, yes, that is the end of turn 7. I hope that you will join me for turn 8. But until then, this is me, Catweazle, saying toodaloo.